We're live. Welcome, everyone. This is a stream where we're going to be just talking about building things. I want to really keep it focused around what we're going to be building today, and I want to kick it off with saying that for the next couple months, there's a lot of really exciting hackathons happening in the Polkadot ecosystem. And this series, hopefully, will be a place for developers that are looking for inspiration, looking for pro tips from other builders that have experience building things in the ecosystem to get the most of, right? To use this stream to ask your questions, to share your insight, potentially even to contact me, who's leading the organizing of the people that will be coming on this stream. That maybe you want to be sharing something as a builder that you would like to get on this stream about. So I thought that there was no better way to kick it off with stuff that I'm building myself. So pain points that I've looked at, that I've experienced, and that I responded with, okay, I really need to build something. So this stream is going to talk about that. And we have a very special guest with us today, who is my partner in crime that I've shared many hours building things in my own free time, as a lot of the work that I do in the Polkadot ecosystem is developer relations, but I also really enjoy to be building my own little projects. I've actually done a few hackathons this year, and I've contributed to some open source repositories over the many years I've been around. And this year in particular, I want to share my excitement about something that I've been focusing my time on with the different projects that I'm involved with in the year that went by. So before we introduce our really special guest and dive right into how to ship MVPs and influence people. By the way, if anyone gets that reference, I would love to hear just a little fire emoji in the chat. Why don't we do that going forward? Anyone that kind of like resonates with what we're saying, that could be like, oh, I totally feel your pain as we go through this stream. Just respond with fire emoji. That just gives us a little bit back and forth, because a big part of this stream, guys, is don't be shy, ask your questions. I won't be answering any questions that don't pertain to what we're talking about, but I really want this to be interactive and for it to be a place where we can share knowledge as developers, as people building, and people that are excited to build at the hackathons that are coming up. So maybe now I can share my screen, and I will just, okay, kind of give you the lay of the lands of what to expect for today. Okay, cool. It's kind of weird layout there. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, okay, interesting. We'll ignore that. But I want to just give a little bit of alpha about a really exciting event happening in November in Buenos Aires. We just launched the signups for the Sub-Zero hack. Now, this would be the place that you would attend either remotely or in person to take all the tips that we're going to be sharing with you guys on this stream. So the Sub-Zero hack is going to be a 3-day hackathon. There's going to be a lot of exciting bounties, and the prize pool I expect is going to get bigger, but I won't say more. I will leave it at right now. There's a $15,000 prize pool, and this hackathon is really geared to shipping your ideas and launching them and continuing to build them post hackathon. So let me repeat that. This hackathon is the only hackathon in the ecosystem where our focus is to identify projects, winning projects that are going to continue building post hackathon. So this is your opportunity to meet your future founders. It's your opportunity to work on that project that you never really got back to. It could be a project from a previous hackathon, and you use this opportunity to polish it up and ship it. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about like, how do you ship your projects that you start building at hackathons? How do you bring them from kind of a proof of concept, maybe a semi MVP, to actually something that can be usable? And with that said, I think we can segue right into our topic for today. So let me just prepare the screen. How's everyone doing, by the way? Where is everyone tuning in from? I think that at this time we've probably got some North Americans, South Americans, Europeans. I'm personally in Europe right now. So yeah, please feel free to share where you're tuning in from. It's always nice to get some interaction from the audience. So who here has this reference? Well, I'll leave it for now. But the point is, what we're going to talk about today is giving you guys tips for launching MVPs. And that means not just your kind of napkin sketch, okay, this is my hackathon submission, which you might win with. No, something that actually works. And I'm putting myself out here right now because I actually went through all of these pain points that we're going to talk about today. I've learned from the mistakes that I've made. And yeah, this is going to be a really exciting stream. Okay, so just in preparation, I will just get my sketchpad ready. Greenville, welcome. Yeah, so some people from the US. Yeah, 10 a.m. on the US right now, so good on you. Okay, so now I think this is a good time to get Deji on. Why don't we introduce Deji? Here, maybe I can take this off. We'll take this one off, yeah. Hey, Dej, how's it going? Oh, I think you're on mute.
Hello, Sasha. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. I'm excited.
You're excited, yeah?
Yeah.
So, how much experience do you have building in hackathons?
Quite some experience. I think my first hackathon was Polkadot North America. That was 2022, and it was amazing. Sasha was my mentor then, and through Sasha's mentorship and tutelage, I was able to come third in the Web3 and tooling category. And then there was another hackathon in Europe, under the Qt category. So yeah, I think I have quite some experience winning hackathons, and I love hackathons. They're cool.
So what could you give as a tip for maybe someone that's coming into a hackathon for the first time? Any tips you can give them? I mean, you are a serial hackathon entrepreneur, so there's no better person than you.
Okay, so my tip would be quite simple. When people come into hackathons, there's this fear, everybody's coming into the hackathon and then everybody's going to build, the next software rocket and everything. But for me, I think look at the hackathon track and think about what value you want to deliver and just focus on that. There's a lot of distraction in hackathons, a lot, but you just want to focus on that. And so focus on delivering real value and iterate.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. I think that this is something we're going to actually touch on in the plan for the stream today. Which is like focus on that one thing. Like, don't get too distracted by the other things. But I don't want to get in too much depth and detail. I think that like just hearing from you that you went from one hackathon to the next hackathon. I think that this is hopefully an inspiration for people that are looking to join the Polkadot ecosystem. And I think that it is the best way to learn. It's the best way to meet people. Like right now, you're on the Polkadot main account streaming. Like it takes work. It takes like dedication. But hackathons really have a lot more merit than just, I get to hang out with my friends and ship some project and then get back to my normal job. Right? I think there's an opportunity for hackathons there.
Yeah.
I think that sorry, you want to say something, Desh?
Yeah, just to add to that, hackathons are really good. There's a lot of exposure, especially when you're a value person. So if you're up for delivering value, trust me, it is a catalyst for more opportunities for you. Meeting people, I mean, look at me, I'm on the Polkadot channel, which is really cool. Do you understand? So yeah, hackathons are not just let's just type some code and ship stuff. No, you should actually have a long-term view when you're actually doing hackathons.
Sweet. We have someone in the chat that mentioned the first time doing a hackathon, they had no idea what they're doing, and they got a CloudBox on Hetzner.
That's
The subdomain.
subdomain.
Okay, cool. You just got a subdomain to demo your containers, and then okay, you're asking, are there any in the US? I'm not sure about that, Dwarf. I have to ask some of my US friends. But yeah, that's awesome. You like that's an example of like going to the hackathon and just using it as an experience. But guys, what if I told you that hackathons actually, as they are designed, they really, really don't work all that well. 90% of the projects, in my experience, like even like 99% of the projects, even myself having hacked it like and submitted some cool thing, they just don't get to the next level, right?
Yeah.
Have you experienced this, Deji? Like, oh, I had a cool idea with Kilt. Like, did you ever revisit that project?
No, I didn't. I didn't. In 2023, I didn't. I just packed it. You know.
Well,
I'm like, this is really cool, blah blah blah, and I just packed it. So
I think that what I'm highlighting here has some nuance to it, right? What I'm highlighting is generally that, and this is going to be the topic of, guys. Like I'm mentioning this because this is what like we built a tool to respond to this issue, which is that a lot of hackathons don't continue building after the hackathon. They're really good ideas. They've made really good connections, but there's little incentive to do that. And so I think the nuance though is like, for example, Digi, you've went from one hackathon to the next, but you've always kind of taken like learnings from previous hackathon to the next hackathon, right?
Yeah, sure.
And so you kind of are, let's say, using each hackathon as you iterate. But I want to say that there's no like official kind of there's no like written down like kind of social understanding that this should be really a thing. So I just want to show that, you know, at Web0, so the entity I work with, we've organized most recently the Web3 Summit Hackathon, and we did the Web3 Summit Hackathon last year, and we've been exploring with really trying to empower teams with reason to want to keep building post-hackathon. And so that actually is what motivated actually Digi. I remember like I basically called you up. I'm like, man, I need help. Like, I really, really need to build this like, now. And in fact, I had started building it a year ago, and then it just dropped. I just got distracted with other things. And Digi actually really helped me build Stadium. Stadium is the project portal today, now live on the Join Web0 website subdomain that is designed to showcase projects and do a lot more, which we'll talk about later. So really quickly, I can actually just show you what Stadium is. We're going to, and we're just gonna chat about it. So Stadium essentially, the first thing that I wanted to achieve. So right now, Stadium is a place you can go on this URL and you can see the past projects. So, this is on localhost. Actually, I'm gonna go on the real one. So with Stadium, okay, so it's essentially featuring the winning projects and also featuring the past projects. That's baseline number one, right? So you can check it out. Monsters Inc., for example, has their little their demo, like, and you can like go on their website. The idea is that like in any submission, you have a bunch of data that after a hackathon, people want to check it out too, right? So that's the first step we did. And you can also then visit past projects from the last two major hackathons that Web0 organized. So like it's kind of cool because I remember these projects from last year. It feels like ages ago. But yeah, like you can check them out. Like Propcorn is a really cool project. Microfunding made easy. But the point is that it's just nice to have a portal for this. And so I came to Digi and I said, listen, like I've started this. It's really, really hacky. Like I mean, like I need help. Like it was all coming from a JSON file, and I have a like the first version of it looks like this actually.
Ugly.
Do you remember?
Really ugly.
Ugly and not functional. Like, barely functional. So okay. I wanna like this was just kind of giving you guys a preview of what we're talking about. But for the rest of this time, I want to spend time on what is it that like motivated me, and then Digi, I'd love to hear from you. and I think that with this, guys, like, so let me actually even go further here. So it was after the Web3 Summit Hackathon in 2024 that I wanted a place for everyone to see the progress of the the submissions from the hackathon, right? And all I had essentially was the data of each project. Something here, I think it's literally a JSON file like this, and um,
Yeah,
and
that was it.
for me it was just simple. I just needed to be a web page that shows them all, right? But I had to include an additional thing, and that was because our hackathons, our hackathons have to do with like basically so actually I should take a step back here, guys. Like, sorry. Deji, you understand our hackathon model. You want to just say how it works? Basically the milestone payments.
Okay, so well, I don't know if there's been any improvement, but then the model I remember, so after submission, and then you mostly don't know what's going on, and then you have to wait for a period of time, and then eventually someone would reach out to you. So the milestone payment has been like really inefficient. I remember for Qt, I think I waited for like a month, before I got anything. So there's a lot of inefficiencies in milestone payments, especially disbursement of these things. It's really tacky.
Yeah. So actually you're outlining one aspect of the problem that upset me here. Like, and guys, this is the number one tip. Like, build something that gets you going, that upsets you. Like, build something because you're angry that there's no other better solution. And so that was a big part. It's true. But before even going there, Digi, what I was really thinking is, so the milestone model is about the winning teams after the hackathon have basically in a given 30-day period to ship what they had planned to ship as part of their submission
Yeah,
post hackathon.
yeah,
That is
yeah,
what we're doing at
yeah,
WebZero. That is what you
yeah.
can expect at Sub-Zero Hack in Buenos Aires, where we
Mhm.
really want to see hackathon projects continue to ship after the hackathon. And so that also
Yes.
means that these projects have a very clear milestone that they would to implement post hackathon. So I'll give you an example. How it worked essentially a year ago was, well, to submit your milestone. Basically, you would submit your milestone, and then you would get approval from myself and the judges to get the second payout of your bounty, right? Because we're withholding the bounty until the work is done. That is our model. So I was like, we need a tool for this. And now, of course, you're right. Like, then I was like, well, payments need to be fixed too. Like, so much frustration. But
Yeah.
just to give the full picture here. So what we had is essentially a system where the winning projects would, oh, it's not an issues. It's in the pull request. So these two used this system. The others, it was just not really working, which motivated also Stadium. However, again, guys, like this is from a year ago. I'm just showing you how we got to where we got. And so, for example, these authors finished the milestone and made a PR. This was December, so this was like months before, after the hackathon ended. And I approved it. The thing is, they actually made a PR by updating what they did in the milestone, and the donation address. Now, I see someone in the chat that says, "Was this before vibe coding?"
Of course.
And like it was
Yeah, it was.
very pre-vibe coding, yes, but it's almost like, I mean, when I hear that comment, I'm thinking like, yeah, like this is not very good engineering. Like, and I
Yeah,
did,
but couldn't the stadium.
but I tried to find a solution in the interim. Now let's move on to like what we have, right? Oh, where are we?
Such there's something I want to add to what you said.
Yeah, for sure.
Hackathons are usually like opportunities for people to actually start something. Many times, hackathon gives you like, directions on, where you actually hit the ground running. And then, I figured out that I mean, from my own experience, that I wasn't really interested after the hackathon. And that was the problem because people actually, at least hackathon winners, build really great stuff. But then there's almost no motivation to actually continue. Sasha, that was what you were telling me about. And so if we're able to break this, and even many projects are not even completed. Do you know that? That's like the crazy part, in which I don't finish writing the contract or something. And then so what happens? So let's say Polkadot is shipping like a new feature. I think there was the Papi API. Do you remember that I was trying all night to get to work?
Remember, yeah.
Exactly. And then, after the hackathon, the default thing was just to leave it alone and just move on. But then, if we're able to break actually into milestones, even after the hackathon, and then we can actually monitor these projects, then there's sufficient motivation to actually build great stuff for the ecosystem. So that was like our first motivation. I just wanted to,
Yeah, no,
add to
nice.
that.
I think, yeah, like I think so. We're sharing two big tips here, guys. The
Mhm.
first is like build something that you really care about, like that you really either you want to explore a new technology. I think Digi, you share this a lot. Like as you are discovering Polkadot, oh, I really want to explore DIDs, or I really want to do smart contracts, which is great. And always bring the learnings that you've acquired to the next iteration of what you're going to build, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a big takeaway right now of like kind of what we're going over. So yeah, recap. Blockspace Stadium kind of came about this year. We've iterated on it. It's come a long way since the JSON file, and I think this is a good segue into talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of um, of uh, of the blockchain.
Getting here.
So so the origin story really is like, well, kind of cool. Like, yeah, there's a need. There's people that actually were motivated to build this thing, including yourself, Digi, who stepped up. And I want to shout out my colleague and partner in crime, Dercio, who Spanish and Vanish, who has contributed tremendously to the Blockspace Stadium platform also.
Yeah. And my front end body Promise that really helped out.
Yes, which who I've never met, but thank you. And I think that this kind of sharing the need of what needs building, like so sharing this desire to really we need this infrastructure. It just doesn't exist. I think that is really important. But also, then it kind of goes into know your user. I think in this whole project, me having gone through so many hackathons as an organizer and having seen firsthand, like at Web Zero, like what we need, what's missing, I think put us in a position to actually build something that, like, from the get-go, we knew that there was going to be a use for it. But it's not always going to be the case, right? It's not always going to be the case that you have that extensive experience in that problem space. But my tip here is just research, know your user, survey those potential users to get that information. I don't know what you think about that tip, Digi.
Yeah. I think what is very interesting about the stadium is that we actually built it for ourselves. You as a multi-time experienced hackathon organizer, and also me as an hackathon winner. So it was really building these things firsthand. We knew that, okay, I want to submit one address. What Sasha, there was this junction where we were like, how do teams actually split their bounties? Do you remember where we said, for instance, we have like 3 people in a team, one is front end, one is back end, and one is like maybe the smart contract developer. So, that thinking process, so I think for me, building anything, you want to build what you would use as first hand user. And I think that really helped us here in building Stadium.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Cool. If there's any questions about what we just shared, I think I think in the next few sections of this stream we're gonna maybe answer them. But feel free, don't be shy. It's lovely to have people in the chat. So key insight number 1, guys: build what pisses you off the most. Your frustration is your user's frustration, and that is your opportunity.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, sure. I think I think this was a quite frustrating point for us, Sasha. And then, do you remember when we made the calculation and we said, "Wow, this is really huge because there's a lot of hackathons going on." Can you imagine? So, do you know how very very useful this would be to the ecosystem and even across chains? Do you understand? So
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
if you're being frustrated by something, you can be sure that there's somebody else, and that's his opportunity.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, raise of hands like in the chat who would be keen on using Stadium. We have a roadmap. We're going to be adding features. Right now it's in a very MVP phase, but yeah. Oh, I think we have an interesting insight that's being shared in the chat too from one of the many partners in crimes. Let's see. Oh, I don't know how to add that, but it's Brib says, yeah, just have a chat with the users. They like to be polite, so never ask if your solution is if it's good or not, right? And that's so true. They're always going to be polite. Instead, ask how they feel about XYZ and listen to gain data where the problem really is.
Really is.
Don't go looking for answers that you just want to hear. I think that is very, very well said. Thank you so much. Very good insight.
Yeah, and that very good insight. I remember I've been able to, bust Sasha's bubbles, and also he has been able to bust mine. We're like, oh, let's rush into the smart contract. Do you remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And yeah.
we can look at that after. Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
See. So moving on. Yeah. So let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Bad and the ugly.
I want to kick this one off, Digi, and feel free to add or to just add your own points. Like we are saying basically, understand the big picture, and that is what like if you know your users, you know the problem space very well, you're in the best place to build something that can be useful. But I want to say no, because what happens there is you get too distracted. You want to build the entire spaceship without even building like the conductors that you need for the engine. Like you have a tendency to want to basically build the entire house without getting just the floors down, right? And I think I had made this mistake by coming from the angle.
Same here.
Yeah, well, so I'll share my insight and then you share this. Yeah, I came from the angle like, okay, I know what I want to build. I want to build a portal for platform for projects. I want to build a showcase for projects, and I want to do the payouts all in one. That did not work. Like if you're launching an MVP, you must keep things bite-sized, core components only. That's my tip. Desh, what do you think?
Yeah, same thing. I think for me, I was really focused on. So I'd seen the big picture, and I was focusing on I'd say the entire flow from all the boilerplates, as opposed to individual pain points. Like the components that really matter. For instance, imagine focusing on how are they going to sign up and how it's going to look like, and just trying to flow through everything, as opposed to really focusing on those things that really matter. And Sasha was able to really help with that. So
Yeah.
bite-sized things, bite-sized things. I actually wrote an entire contract, and then we didn't end up using it, at least not yet. Do you understand? And funny how that was not even like that was not very necessary. So there's usually a temptation to want to build everything, especially when you're a builder, But bite-sized components, what exactly are we starting from? Just what exactly really matters, as must-haves as opposed to should-haves. Do you understand? So must-haves as opposed to should-haves. There are a lot of should-haves, infinite.
Yeah.
Or
would be nice, or yeah.
It would be nice. Yeah.
It's for instance, when we went down the whole of like, okay, we're gonna build this DApp. It's a platform that is going to become a DApp, really, which we'll show in our kind of roadmap. Because a core component is to manage payouts, right? Where you have a smart contract that has an escrow for that event, and then the funds are released directly through this DApp. But so the temptation was to say, well, yeah, amazing. I'll do the smart contract. We'll just take the same schema for what we're using for the projects.
For JSON, yeah.
No. What happened, guys, is that we learned that we should have started much more simpler, much more around like what we already have and what we already know. And this is actually where Dercio from WebZero came in with, okay, like let's just get things down to the basics of like what is the data that we're handling and what are we servicing in terms of like what the app is showing from the data. And that's where basically right now it's super simple, but it's robust and it works. And
It's future proof.
Exactly. So we got this core component down, which is the data schema that we won't be changing. So every project has all this information, and actually we can show here. Actually, no, I won't jump too much, but in the code base, this kind of took a while to iterate, whereby like from a year ago, we asked different things from the projects. They didn't always have the same things. Also, do you remember you were talking about having flags? Because essentially we just want to as soon as a project, let's say like Milky Way, basically uploads their milestone, then this triggers a flag that, by the way, this is all just UI. The main thing that we've built here, guys, so far is just a showcase of the projects. All of this other stuff is still stuff we're still working on. But yeah, hashtag ship to production, build ship to production. But the idea is that the pending milestones will come in here, and then the under review will come in here, and blah blah blah. My point here, guys, is that like building all of that in one sprint is just putting the cart in front of the horse, and it's a lot better and more efficient to get the basics down. Which I want to applaud Dercio for helping on that too. In fact, Deji, you started doing the database stuff. Actually, that's where you came back to contracts, and you're like, okay, let's just get this.
And the architecture, yeah.
So you want to talk a little bit about the architecture and give some tips on that?
Okay. So this Sasha, you can go back. So this
this one, yeah. So
this ugly screen was what Sasha came to me like in, I don't know, 2 a.m. in the night or something. Well, no, it wasn't 2 a.m. And then figuring out the architecture is actually very important, and it should be like one of the first things, because we have to ask, so what exactly are we doing, and what do we have and what do we want to do. So we started from having past projects. So I asked Sasha, what are the similarities between projects? So what do we have? What do we require from a project? Project names and okay, all those things are really simple. But I think the most important thing I asked was the life cycle of the projects. What are the flags? Meaning, what life cycle does the project go through? We have in development, we have having submitted a project, we have the project has been shipped, the milestone delivery has been paid. So that was the start, because we want to know what, when designing the schema for the project, we want to know how many states the project can actually be in. So after figuring that out, and then loading the past project into the database, and then we now because the past projects also, they had like a certain frame. Now we were trying to be future proof, so we took so then the next question to ask is, so our current project, the current project that will be submitted now and forward, what do they look like actually? And then are they similar to what we had in the past? And yeah, so that was the next thing to figure out. And having gotten that down, I think the last part for the architecture was trying to tie in the contract to what we had, which is to automate the entire system. And I think that's still ongoing. So basically, abstracting, we had what we have, which detailed like the life cycle of the project. So what we're going to have right now, making it future proof, and then automating everything. So that was like how the architecture was broken down into three frames.
And so then you came up with just basically the database. You've basically populated it with the JSON. So we forget about JSON. Thank God.
Sasha uses JSON for everything. 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 Yeah, so this was when I already loaded it into the database. So Sasha, can you click a project?
Oh, this is just a screenshot.
Oh, it's just a screenshot.
Yeah,
so basically,
I don't know if we have a deploy of this anywhere, but maybe you do.
I think it's offline.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, this was what Stadium looked like just around the end of July, where that marked. Well, actually, it was the mid to end of July, just around where the Web3 Summit hackathon was gonna finish. So I'm, rushing around, kind of don't have time to do this. Then she's like, okay, I can do this. And our goal was to have it ready for just after Web3 Summit hackathon. And so I think that this was the closest. This was the last iteration before I went full on like, okay, this needs to like look and feel more like our aesthetic at Web0. But as you can tell, like it looks clean, it works. And it even has that Web0 green.
Yeah. So so we moved away from JSON, then we moved to like a database schema, because we had like a schema. But then we weren't still sure about the life cycle of the project. And I think that was like an iteration point, because I kept asking what life cycle of the project, what do they look like, and what are their triggers? Sasha, if you remember, for instance, if I submit my project, so what do I trigger a bounty and payment or a notification for the multi-sig account? Can you remember that?
I remember that, yeah.
So this was like stage 2.
Yeah.
So you can show stage 3,
and then it's like, okay. I mean, it looks like now I look at this, I'm like, well, maybe we like the more corporate enterprise look and feel. But I think at this point in the project, I was like, this is great. Okay, we can showcase the projects, but I want it to look less like any other hackathon platform that everyone, it basically looks like a Stripe website. Like, not the vibe that I want to go for. And I think this goes into a really, really pertinent like tip number. I don't know how many tips we've already given, but build something that you love. Right? Like when I looked at this, I'm like, okay, fine. It's like I didn't really love the look and feel, right? And so I essentially, this was the first iteration, and then came to like this aesthetic, and I'm happy with the kind of 90s Atari look and feel. I'm also very open to
Sasha's favorite. That's Sasha's favorite.
Yeah, it is. I love it. I'm also very open to I'm open to feedback and stuff. By the way, actually, maybe I can share a link as we go through this. I don't know how many people are tuned in right now, but I'd love to get your feedback on Stadium. If anyone is, actually, maybe I can ask in the chat. Can you share?
Sasha, there's something I really want to say about the UI, because do you remember that I think I was tending towards building another Dora Axe. Do you remember? And again, we were deviating, or I was deviating my focus, because it's just so easy to want to build more. Do you understand, Sasha? And I was like, oh, and Sasha was like, what, we don't want to build another Dora Axe. We have a specific problem, and then we had to just streamline into barest minimum that we have here. So thanks, Sasha.
I think that's a really really insightful tip to share too. And guys, like, we're talking about build it right now. This is a tool that we need, that is like we see it evolve in a completely on-chain and that's what we're building. That's the direction we're going towards. But it's true, what you're looking at is a very just simple showcase of the projects. It's a Web2 thing. That's it. Like, it's using MongoDB and whatnot. But it doesn't matter, because what matters is we're just trying to build something to solve the problem we want to fix. Now, I just want to put a note that in this Web3 space, where we're building cutting edge things, we're building with the cutting edge technologies at our disposal, it's almost our responsibility not to just copy other existing Web2 projects. Like, I don't mean to say it like, oh, you should always just think whatever you do, just don't copy it. No, it doesn't have to do with that. It's more like you have a green field, like, just do something different. Just try to change the game a bit, right? And I don't think I was so obsessed about that point. It was more that I knew that I did not want it to make it look like another Dora hacks. Yeah.
So you knew what you didn't want. I mean, we knew what we didn't want.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. No, well said. So I think that well, make it lovable, not just viable. And this, guys, it has to be taken with a little bit of nuance, because there's a tension, and I want to talk about this next. I'm sure you have insight, Deji, and maybe Dercio in the chat too. There's a tension between saying, like, okay, just lovable, then it doesn't really matter if those core components don't work. It doesn't really matter if the floor of your house isn't really properly built. If you get too much on the make it look cool and whatnot, especially with vibe coding today. There's a tension between that, and then the viable might pull away from maybe making a UI that you love. But I think the middle ground is keep the focus on, like, those key features that service your user journeys that you care about for your MVP, and make it both lovable and viable. Yeah, I don't know what you think, Desh.
Okay, so for me, make it lovable, not just viable. I think so the first thing Sasha came up with, in all honesty, I'd say it was viable. Why? It worked, but it was not very efficient, and well, there was not so much design. And the thing about that is that it actually limits the amount of people that will want to actually go through that hassle, making it just viable. So I think for me there's functionality, and then there's experience, and viability. Really, it's I like to think it's about functionality. So yes, it worked, but then there was really no much design. There was like it being used, it wasn't lovable. It just worked. People were creating PRs. We literally, Sasha, not me, Sasha was loading it from a JSON file, and the experience matters, because today a lot of people want to actually use Stadium, as opposed to the shadow of Stadium that we had before. So when you're building, or when we are building, we want to focus on functionality. So functionality is our North Star, but then we can actually wrap great experiences around it. So I'd like to ask, are projects still able to track, are we still able to track the life cycle of our project? Yes, now and before. But what's the difference? Difference is the experience now. So make it lovable, not just viable.
Yeah. So I mean, we've spent some time on like the how we came around building the projects and stuff. I just want to share, like, our project board, and so this goes back to keep your focus on key components, like core components, like important, crucial components that you need to build that service that feature set, which service that user journey. Right now, Sprint 0, which is not on this board, is we just want a place to see the projects past and active. So literally, there's a place to see the past projects, the active projects. And now we're working on a whole bunch of other things. Feel free to check out this URL if you want. I can share it later in my GitHub, but essentially Sprint 1 is now we focus on individual project pages, the teams. And then Sprint 2 the ability for judges to actually sign off on payouts, and then actually integrate the smart contract. So this project board, I still have a lot of work to do in it because I actually need to break it down into more like more engineering specific tasks, not just kind of high level. However, yeah, I just wanted to share that as we're going through the methodology of building your minimally lovable products. Yeah. But moving on, Desh, let's for the sake of time. So I think this is super, super important, where we need like if you're building your MVP, think from first principles. You're going to be at a hackathon. You're going to be really tempted to do everything, and then you're just going to come back with a whole bunch of junk that's going to be really hard to then piece back together or pull apart to just get to the core thing if you choose to be building post hackathon. Remember, like what we care about at WebZero, if you come to the Sub-Zero hack, it's to empower you guys to continue building. So that's why I want to be giving you these tips. So think from first principles, break it down into smaller components, and yeah, just like have your starting point and stick to it. Building the barest minimum that you love, one component at a time.
Yeah. Wait, Sasha, can I just say
Yeah.
real quick? So first principles thinking is very important. Look, there's a lot of how. There's a temptation to jump into the how, but then the what. See, hows can change. You know, for us, we wanted to encourage developers to keep building post hackathon, as opposed to just jump into the fact that we wanted to track projects, we wanted to do a lot of things. So what does not change. So focus on the what. It just helps simplify everything. And after that, like Sasha has said, after figuring out the what, then we can go on to the how. Then we now break the how into components. Like okay, we want to load past projects, we want current projects to be uploaded. We want to track multi-sig accounts. Do you understand? Then you break it up, and then you figure out where to start from, really, because you can start from the multi-sig, but that necessarily wouldn't be wise, because also the starting point it's important, because the way I built a lot, I built quite some stuff with Sasha, and the way we build our things is we choose a good starting point that we can then wrap flesh around. So we begin to wrap and wrap and wrap and build iteratively. We don't have separate components. Each component is added and added and added and added and added. So choosing where to start from is actually very important. And then just build the barest minimum, the barest lovable minimum. Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah, love it. Very well said. So let's go through these sort of quick to leave some time for questions. Guys, if there's anyone that has questions for us as we're wrapping up the stream, don't be shy. We're here to answer them. You can always find us on Twitter or on Telegram, whatever. We're here to support you guys with your ideas for building and being successful at the upcoming hackathons. So the 3 commandments of building an MLP. Guys, the MLP thing, it's a new thing. I like it. It's like, yeah, build something lovable. So the first is, hey, draw it out. Just put your idea to paper, write out the key features. Like I can't tell you how many like notepads and stuff I've had before Stadium kind of came to this thing. And then I had a clear idea of like not only what the needs are, but what I kind of want to I kind of want it to look like. The commandment 2 is polish one thing perfectly. Polish it in sequence, right? Like what does he just said, get that core component and then add them sequentially. Don't just have them all in one bundle, because it's going to be much more expensive in your time to go back and then fix it post hackathon. Say you win, but you've just vibe coded everything from scratch, from the ground up. Like you probably will waste a lot of time just refactoring and getting something solid.
Yeah.
So here's a tip: like, just why don't you start from the beginning? Like start, even if it's a hackathon project, start with just at least some sort of kind of systems, first principles thinking as you build. Yeah. Ship incrementally. So right now, that is what we're trying to do with Stadium. We're building in public, by the way. Like, there's nothing to hide. It's okay. Like, it's not open heart surgery. But yeah, what I'm now needing to go back on is, okay, what are these like key things that we need to build in the next iterations? You can see for yourselves if you go to the website. Admittedly, there's a lot of like artifacts of like, this could be cool, this might be cool, like this, for example. And that actually, I want to give a tip here. That actually is my mistake of already like going ahead from the core components and the things that work, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, Deji? Like, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, sure.
draw it out, but like, don't like vibe code the heck out of everything. Just
Exactly. Sasha, I won't say that there's usually a temptation to actually start from the engineering, but you want to start from really what you want to, look at, what like from the experience, from the user experience, then we walk back to the engineering. So because it's so easy to vibe code now, but then you realize that when you've done a lot of stuff, then you have to retract back, and that really wastes your time,
Yeah.
and spaghetti code, it becomes spaghetti,
Yeah.
But then having figured out what we want to look at from the start, then we now walk back to the engineering. Sasha, second commandment. So after walking back, and then we can then identify key components. Do you understand? Composable components that stack on each other. Very important. Composable components that stack on each other. Do you understand? And then moving on to commandment 3.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, then begin to focus on a component at a time, a component at a time, a component at a time. It's just it really helps. It saves you a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, yeah, Sasha, I really wasted time in the last hackathon, which Sasha won. Congratulations. Like the AI one.
Yeah.
I really wasted time. And I've learned from that. So I don't think you should make my mistake.
Yeah. It's a blur to me because I ended up not sleeping and going to sleep at 10 a.m. So I don't remember what happened, but it worked.
Okay, fair enough.
So, key takeaways, guys, as we wrap up.
Uh-huh.
Build what pisses you off the most, right? Just you have to care about it somehow. But then I want to say that that's a challenge, because if you care about something so passionately, you might forget what Deji just said, right? Think first principles. Don't get distracted by trying to shove everything all at once. Think like an engineer. Be the engineer, right? Like, you're building a product here. It has to be robust from the ground up. But yeah, make it lovable.
Yeah, the experience matters, not just functionality. So yeah, but focus on functionality and then wrap incrementally make the experience great for you and for me, and for everyone else. Yeah.
Mhm. Your hackathon project does not have to die. Please, guys, if you're submitting to the Polkadot Builder Party hackathon happening, that's, I think the signups are open, but it officially starts October 8th, I think. Anyways, if you're gonna submit to that hackathon, submit something that you want to continue building after the hackathon. And you know what? Sub-Zero is the place for you to go after you've submitted to the online Polkadot Builder hackathon. Maybe we can share a quick link for all these hackathons.
Okay.
But the other one is that there's the LATAM hack. The LATAM hack. LATAM hack, guys, like, for anyone that is in the LATAM community, yes, use this hackathon, win some prizes for fun, but please, like, think about it. Like, use these hackathons to actually like drive innovation.
Yeah.
Take an idea and don't just let it pick up dust on the shelf. So yeah.
Sasha, there's something I want to say, which is like big ups to both of us. Do you remember that we're still building Samaritan from hackathon from 3 years ago? Do you remember Samaritan was like from 3 years ago, and then we're still building. Watch out for Samaritan, by the way. So yes.
Yeah, shameless show. It's true. This is very true. Deji and I came together. I was mentoring Deji at a Polkadot hackathon on like DITs. He had this kind of crazy idea, and actually, as a mentor, I was telling you exactly these tips. I was like, "Yo, scope it down, and we basically scoped it down to the point that we realized that what we really wanted to build is the networking layer for the stack that was
which we shipped.
And we shipped it, and I'm really proud of it. And actually, there'll probably be a video about it that's going to be published from the Web3 Foundation soon. So I hope that this was useful for everyone watching. I hope that people can use rewatch maybe, or we can like turn this video into like some snippets. Like there's some key moments that hopefully will help you guys not just win at the hackathons. Trust me, guys. I've won some hackathons. It's not satisfying to just win. What's satisfying is that you have a project that is actually being used by real users, or that you have a project that gives you enough reason to want to continue building and iterating it. That's what's satisfying. It's not that you're going to win $1,000, $2,000. So yeah, I think with that being said, if you have any last words, if there's any questions, maybe we can take a few minutes to wait for questions. But yeah, Deji, what do you think? Was a good
stream? I think I think you shouldn't build what you would not want to continue after the hackathon. There's a lot of tech to use for to build for an hackathon. But then I'd like you to pick an idea that you can actually iterate on. One that is actually future proof and potentially interesting. And like Sasha said in the opening of this stream, hackathons actually open opportunities for you when you are set out to deliver real value, not just win, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000. Do you understand? So focus on long-term value. I want to build this thing on chain. I mean, and there's a lot of support. The Polkadot ecosystem is fantastic. There's there's the Web3 grants. I think there's another one, Sasha, for like 30K max. So there's a lot of support. There's Web0, there's Sasha, there's me, that wants to help you actually build value, so your project. Okay.
I was going to say that you're actually now more and more active in the Polkadot Africa community.
Yeah. Polkadot Africa.
You're a senior ambassador already, huh?
I'll send you my promotion card, don't worry.
Excellent.
So that's it. And I want to see what you build next. I think there's an hackathon coming up next.
Yeah, you're gonna build something, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna win. Not just build. So yeah, watch out for me, but don't be intimidated. Yeah. Thanks.
No, Deji, thank you so much for making the time on this, getting on this stream. It was not very planned for, and I think it was a nice thing to have you as someone who's contributed and also who's been literally building from like 2022, I think, is when you started in the Polkadot ecosystem. So you've seen a lot of things, and so that being said, I want to leave this stream with, this is not going to be the last stream on this series. We're going to continue doing these streams featuring builders that either are showcasing work that they've done. So I already have a few lined up for the next few weeks. So make sure that you stay tuned, subscribe to our calendar, and we'll see you on the next stream.
Yeah, Sasha, I want to say something before I go. Yeah, shout out to Polkadot Africa. They're doing really amazing, and watch out for us. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you for saying that. I agree with you. I think that on the next stream, hopefully we can actually get Polkadot Africa to restream, and we can do more collaboration. The goal here, guys, is like Polkadot is a global community of builders around the globe. Let's just share insight. Let's be competitive, not competitive. And all it boils down to in the end is let's just build cool things. So with that said, we'll see you on the next one.